Sup Shredders, my name is Logan aka Spiderhands and welcome to an SP Reviews, where today I have myself a bit of a special episode today. We're going to be checking out some tracks from an act named ripTrip, some tracks from a band named ripTrip, and if we switch over to here, we've got three songs we're going to be listening through today. Should be noted that this music is actually done by a regular on the channel named Jacob. So Jacob, thank you for sending this through. It's good to check out some of the music that you were performing back in the day. Should be noted that I think these are covers of 311, but still, I'm looking for, that doesn't mean it's not good. It's just, I don't often do covers on the channel, but I'm keen to hear the way it was performed. We were listening through three of the tracks today, all remixed up, 311 cover. This should be good. Anyways, we're going to listen through this from start till finish, and we're going to hear what we think. Let's go.
Check it out.
Now, you might be wondering who Jacob is in this video. As I understand it, he's the dude here in the shirt over here he's doing like the backing vocals in it, as I understand it, or some of the rapped parts or something like that. I could be wrong. This is just my brain on a Friday being frazzled, but basically I think this is Jacob here.
You got to trust your instinct and let go of regret. You got to bet on yourself and start, because that's your best bet. Watch me now, look through one and nothing comes and fucking start.
Okay, I was going to pause, but I want to let him speak. I want to let him cook. This is what style we bring. Now it's falling, but that's on my mind. Something I need to get on my chest. No matter Good harmonies.
what,
Nice.
Will always be mine. You're all mixed up. You don't know what to do. Until you turn around and find a person in you. Probably might be the thing, but this will be the last. So let's get off of your ass.
So let's get off of your ass. I like the combination of elements we have here. I think the instrumental performance on like the bass, guitar parts, drums is tight. Lead vocals are fantastic, and Jacob is harmonizing well on top of that. And it's very difficult to get those harmonies sounding good, because you're kind of relying on both people having decent pitch, and in this situation they do, which is great.
You're all mixed up, you don't know what to do. They see you turn around and find a person in your shoes. Might be the thing, but this will pass. So just get off of your ass. You got to trust your instinct and let go of regret.
Great vibrato
you got
there.
to bet on yourself and start, 'cause that's your best bet. Watch me now, what if the one and I just say.
So we go straight into that verse there. It's a hell of a transition, actually. There's a great charisma to the performance as well. Like, both the singers on stage seem quite confident with what they're doing, and I don't really have any complaints about it at this point. It just seems like a really well done cover. Oh, you're getting a bit of that wah pedaling on that guitar lead there with the Strat. Sick drum tone as well. The drums sound fantastic.
Keep me coming, there is a girl, no, you never started. Whoa, keep me coming, there is a girl, no, you never started. Hey, keep me coming, there is a girl, no, you never started. Whoa.
I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not quite getting the words through clearly at this point. I heard the ass part though, get off your ass though, all remixed up.
Oh, keep me coming. There is a girl that would feel that solid. Hey, you make me nervous. So tight, my brain is empty. Don't know why, but it's all you do. You something funny. Yeah, truly nothing, and then you can brush me up all day. Any moves, since first I saw you, many moves. Since first did you do many moves. Since first I saw you, many moves. Since first we get to do it. Why do I try when I say it was so? Why do I try when I say it was so? Save it for later on, cause I can escape out the way it's feeling fine. Whoa.
Sick. That was cool. That was great. I'm really happy with that. I don't have any complaints really whatsoever about the performance itself. I think that the band is obviously tight and comfortable in their own shoes. I like the fact that you can see all the members of the band. They clearly know their parts because of how effortlessly it seems like they're transitioning between sections. Granted, I can hear that there's just kind of like one sort of main sort of riff being played on the guitars, though. Maybe there are departures from that, but there's just a very there's a deliberate consistency with things going on in the background there harmonically with the bass lines that I think just allows them to kind of like rap and kind of sing and riff on top of that. And I think that's clever songwriting. I mean, I'm not as familiar with 311 as maybe I should be in order to really comment on how it equates to the original, but it's still a very good start. Very good start to proceedings. I'm glad, yeah, no complaints. You know, if I was at that gig, I'd be happy with it, man, like genuinely. And now we've got ripTrip with Freeze Time. The audio quality. Oh yeah, man. It's just like the charisma is fantastic. This is more than I get from a lot of covers bands. I see a lot of people when I go to like pubs and bars. I see a lot of buskers in like pubs and bars where I live, and they typically are kind of shy and they don't necessarily show the same level of charisma and polish that ripTrip does. I understand that at the moment they've got their own families and everything like that, because this stuff was uploaded like 13 years ago. So this stuff was recorded a while back, which may be in part due to like the potato quality of the video, you know, because again, cell phones back 13 years ago weren't great. I'm not sure if this was recorded. It looks like it might have been recorded on a cell phone from 2010 or something like that. I think it was like the iPhone 3 or something like that, with like a 720p camera or something like that, but they recorded default to 480 or whatever. But I can still tell what's going on, and that's the main thing. Great performance so far. Lovely chuggy tone to the guitars. That's what we can hope for. That's a reason to go for this life. This life that you're aboard. We'll be mortal men, one in the hand. You know exactly then what you have to run the cure. The most go for rapture. Yeah, with your rhythm, yeah, with your nature. Yeah, it's got Beastie Boys kind of vibe to it, you know? We can't be captured on the mountain. Am I tripping? Like, that's all that we can't be. Absence of agony, pleasure from the lack of pain. Oh, you keep on the man, one in the hand. You know that you can. Watch your hand, you got to cure. And most go for rapture. Get with your rhythm, get with your nature. So the presentation gonna do our time, and the woman like a piece is gonna make it mine. I get it. I understand why they have like a backing rapper vocalist person now, because they can accent on like the high. I can see you can like highlight some of the words on the higher notes, can't you, on the upper octaves? Great drum chops, man. The percussion is just pocketing. Remember it in your sleepless life. You were walking, started stalking. Went out the way, he thought he stopped pressing to the right.
the left. The bridge to the east side, not alone. I'm gonna take it, really take it. The thought is that is empty seed, that you bring me original soul. One more man, one the hand. You know exactly, man. Watch your head, you got the cure. Don't stop for rapture. Yeah, we can read up, yeah, with your nature.
I mean, like, when I comment on not necessarily understanding the words that are coming through, I think that's in part because of the vocal quality of the recording, like the audio quality. That's no mark on them. I can tell that they're singing in tune. And the backing behind them, guitars, bass, and drums, are just so tight. Legitimately, I'd say, without a doubt, that's a hella tight performance. You know, especially if it's not their first language. It's wonderful. There's a great energy to it. There's dynamic range to the performance as well. And it's just going the same loudness the whole time. They know to like step back and let the drums have the little bum 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 bum. You know what I mean?
Nothing can compare to your realization of the find out with the ultimate position. Trying to free time for your mind. But a snapshot you always rewind. Roll a butter jam for your sake. Remember it in your sleepless eye. You're a big mother man, wind the hand. You know exactly then. Watch your hat, you got a cure. And most good for rapture. Get with your rhythm, get with your nature.
Get with your rhythm, get with your nature. Is that it? That was sick, though. That was a hella tight act. I don't know what that was about. Freeze time. I heard parts about like Japan and Jackie Chan and stuff like that. So I heard keywords there, but I just don't know how to tie the elements together in a way that's going to make sense for like a conclusion of what I think the song's about. That said, outside of that, the charisma that they have with the performance is not just within itself. I think doing these covers, you need to still kind of be that band for the people watching you, right? So I think the fact they're trying to interact with the crowd, making eye contact, waving and jumping around and stuff like that, I think that's fantastic. It's awesome. That's what you want from frontmen. You want them to kind of meet you as a listener or as a viewer and kind of appreciate you even coming to their concert. You need the singer needs to let the crowd know that they're valued. And that might sound like you're trying to sort of like pander to them. No, it's that people don't have to be there when you're playing, and if you're giving them a good time, they're going to keep coming back because they feel valued and they feel like it's worth their time. That is how you succeed as a musician. You do live shows and you make sure those live shows are so fucking sick that people will just want to come back again and again. That's how you succeed. But yeah, another great act. Like I can't really fault it. I think if I'd been there and heard them actually like talking without the kind of audio quality, I think I would have heard the words more clearly. And then we've got the ripTrip Pileon gig, Don't Tread on Me. If this comes easily, please don't tread on me because I will knock you down. Damn, man. The kind of ska aesthetic with the offbeat notes and stuff like that with those lines, you don't want to screw with that guy. If you got clean guitars and someone being that authoritative, you don't want to screw with them, man. Yeah, those are hard harmonies to sing, man. There's like these wonderful legato passages within the song that we're nailing, and we're getting the harmonies right for the most part, I think. I know it's hard. I mean, as someone who has not gotten vocal training and who struggles to sing, I know the backing is, as usual, is phenomenal. That's a really fantastic drum kit that they've got there. Like, that's a really classy little kit they've got.
I love our canoe. I'm waiting for the falls and the still water so right out through. Oh, there's a clock in my head. And it's not what you say.
Yeah, great vocal fry there as well. They were talking about warships and canoes before, so are they discussing how like they're just not even the same ballpark, and that if you front to them, they're going to knock you down? Are those different ways of interpreting that? The music is so upbeat and happy, but like it's also so like don't step, you know? It's like a catchy way of describing these topics. Solo section. Hey, buddy. Oh, the drums. Great use of the hi-hats and rim shots there. Okay.
Check this out. Well, I know you just told me that I'm melted. I try to beat you, but you said I bet I'm melted.
I know this song. Dude, they're adding an extra bit at the end. Good on them, dude. No more, I cannot wait. I'm yours. I mean, I sorry if that was cringy. I know that song and I do like it. I'm just glad I finally like realized who this band is. It's the end of their gig, yay! Not because I'm sad it's ended, it's more just like I'm glad that they had a great time playing. They clearly look ecstatic.
Thank you, everyone.
Oh, they're good. Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah, no, well done. And the tambourine at the end. Oh, it's done. Oh, there was... What is this? Why is there an old man on my screen? Go away. Because this is my review of ripTrip's 311 covers, their live shows. What do I think these tracks were about? Well, I got the Don't Tread On Me one. The one where they're saying, you know, don't front to me with a canoe and I've got a battleship. You know, like, if you step to me, turn around or I'll knock you down, etc. And they played a little bit of the I'm Yours song later on, which was cool. I'm not sure if that's a 311 song or not. I think that's Jason Mraz, isn't it? Yeah, am I wrong? Is that Jason Mraz? I could be wrong, but I think ultimately they played these songs well. I'm sure if I was more familiar, I'd be able to recognize them because the performances were just so tight, and the vocal performances were solid too. Like they didn't sound like they were lacking in like untuneful, if that makes sense at all, if that's a word. I think that the vocalists had a confidence on stage that was exuberant and easy to get sort of like lost in. And I think that that's exactly what you need for a live show. You need everyone on stage to be comfortable in their own feet, interacting with the crowd, singing their hearts out, really putting 100% into it. And I saw Jacob jumping about and everything like that. He was selling it, Everyone else was as well. I think the instrumentalists, like the bassist, guitarist, and drummer, are a little more laid back just because they were focused on getting their parts right. And that's fine. If you have everybody trying to hog the attention in the limelight, it isn't ideal. Sometimes you just gotta back up the front man or the front people and have your little solos like when you have them. But it's also about being allowed to have guitar solos and stuff like that, or drum solos when you need to, eh? But yeah, I think like in general the vocals were done well. They had a great hidden chest voice. There was some vibrato and legato passages there, as well as some really interesting harmonies that weren't easy, but for the most part they managed to pull them off. Was it an absolutely perfect performance vocally? No, not from either, but it's absolutely fine. I'd rather have like maybe 1% of it be not super ideal, but the 99% be fantastic and selling the track the best they can, and that's what occurred here. I think especially it's a lot harder to play live than in the studio, because in the studio you can hide shit. You cannot hide stuff live. It is very difficult to do that. So kudos to them. I think every single musician, and I work with a lot of musicians who haven't played live, which is fucking wild to me. If you're a musician wanting a career, and I say this as someone who has played live, thank you very much. I have played live. You need to do live shows because it will really, you'll find out very quickly if there's any weaknesses. And you can grind yourself away. Like after we look at the Beatles very quickly, who used to gig 7 days a week or something before they got big, you know? Anyways, I think the vocals were done well. They matched the stories, and while I didn't necessarily understand why the songs were so upbeat when they were talking about really kind of like aggressive stuff, that's just part of the genre. They want a more laid back, chilled out feel to it, so that's fine. I think that in regards to what was going on with the actual tracks themselves were like between like 3 and 4 minutes, which is fine. No complaints there. Great to listen to, very cheery. Songs there with the wonderful sort of like offbeat kind of accents there, like the reggae scarish kind of stuff with the single coil guitars, the interesting sort of 8th and 16th note grooves on the drums there with some interesting rim shot parts, and the bass line exploring the root notes, the modes, etc., and kind of working with the extensions of the harmonies if there were any. And ultimately, I just don't think we needed more than this with these tracks. I think that the moment you add keys or other elements there, it becomes too compositionally complicated with music like this, especially when you're trying to sell a sort of a simple story, or like a story where like you need to listen to understand it. And especially with the amount of like the amount of different like vocal parts, like the rapping, which was done well. I was really stoked with the rapping, and I also liked that they took turns between the two of them. I like the fact that neither of the vocalists was too much of an egotist. They like allowed there to be trade-offs. I think that chemistry is genuinely wonderful. I think that the parts from the various instruments, even though they were sort of like maybe one motif throughout each track, without too much change in the chord progressions or bass lines, were still engaging in part because of how they sort of like interacted and provided a support for the the guitarist, for the vocalists. I think that's an okay situation for that. When you have a performance like that in combination with some really interesting vocal melodies, like interspersed with the rap components there, people taking turns with stuff and having slightly different vocal textures as a lead, I think you got yourself tracks that work, and they're not too long. They're within the 3 to 4 minute sweet spot, so it's fine. 2 to 4 minute sweet spot, should I say. So the covers were good. The performances were great. There were like little like imperfections, like variances and tempos and stuff like that. But aside from like even then, it's like I'm simply taking it from the perspective of someone who's been reviewing music for a while now, is not used to hearing people just playing freely. Like often people stress the importance of a click track, or they'll try and make tracks sound perfect by squeezing stuff into a grid, like changing audio files into a MIDI grid and patching and sampling. I just think it's such a shame. Let the music be real. Let it be organic. They just sounded like a group of young men who were just stoked to be on stage playing the music they enjoyed, and that was exactly what music's all about. It's about playing and having fun. For the most part, there wasn't a note out of place. I mean, to be fair, I'm not familiar enough with the originals, so I wouldn't really know, but from what I heard, it sounded dope and everything sounded well connected. Finally, the studio recording, mixing, and mastering was fantastic. For what it was, I mean, like, again, I know this was probably recorded on like phones, and don't get me wrong, I know phone mics are okay. Some of them have stereo mics and stuff like that, but let's be real, the audio quality of these 3 tracks wasn't super duper fantastic. And I think part of that was because it was uploaded to YouTube 13 years ago when YouTube didn't allow HD uploads. So you didn't get the HD audio coming through, even if it was recorded via like a phone mic or something like that. But I still think it captured the essence of the performances. And I think that the live mixing within the actual performances themselves are great. Bar the audio quality, the actual recording The live stuff, you could hear the vocals clearly along, like for the most part. I couldn't quite understand a lot of the words, but that's besides the point. I think that's simply, you kind of needed like the HQ version to get that clearly. And there was a little bit of just fragmenting on all the bits, but like the vocals were distinct, the guitar's easy to hear, the bass as well. The drums were nice and tight and punchy for the most part. Great notching of stuff in the frequency spectrum, given the situation we had there with the audio quality. It was nice and wide in the stereo field as well, which is interesting again, because I think that's like testament to the quality of the recording itself, to be able to like get stuff to match around the place. And I think that there was dynamic range to the performance itself, which was great. That was captured within a live situation, and it was nice and loud without pumping. Well, actually, no, I shouldn't say that. The "Don't Tread on Me" part, there was obviously pumping there. I think it was probably a bit louder than the phone mic that recorded it could handle, but it's okay. It's okay because, again, like, we're not recording in like a studio, but it's not the official feed off of the live desk, so it's fine. I still enjoyed listening to it. Thank you to Jacob for showing me some of his musical history. It was a fantastic privilege to be able to hear through it. And thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy this music, please do go show ripTrip some love via the various social medias and their YouTube page. And stay cool, stay safe, and please remember to support your local musicians and artists at this point in time, as either help more than ever with all the crazy stuff going on in the world. And I will catch you in the next hang on. I was about to say Spiderhands Out. I'll catch you in the next XP reviews, or the next video, should I say. Spiderhands Out.